Alright, let's get down to business. Now, I've been playing through Metaphor this week, and it's got me thinking about what kind of things I would want in Persona 6. Metaphor already released a year and a half ago. We're probably staring down the barrel of the Persona 4 remake, and 6 will hopefully follow not terribly long after. Being that's the case, I thought it might be good to put some things down into a wish list. One of my bigger wants is to see a Persona game with an aged up cast. Nearly every Persona game has taken place with a high school cast. And it's not that I don't like the high school setting. I made a whole video on what the high school setting of Persona 4 did for me. I just kinda want to see what P Studio would do with a more adult setup. I haven't played Eternal Punishment, but you do play as adults in that one, and I'd love to see Atlas tackle that again, with the modern format. Technically, it doesn't even have to be something that covers the whole game. Maybe something is going on while you're in high school that isn't completely fixed by the end, and there's a time jump where you have to come back and finish things as an adult. I've seen some people say that part of the reason we stick to high school is because it's this widely relatable, highly vulnerable time for people, but college and adulthood is too. I've also seen people say that another reason is simply due to the Japanese culture. They view high school as this last, truly free time in your life, before you become trapped by the work culture. I can see that being a problem for figuring out how the routine of the game would work, but I also feel like that lends itself to the theme of rebellion in the games. Fighting against that really tight, restrictive schedule that the culture kind of forces on you with the work life. If you did go with a college-age cast, you could keep the student activity schedule of in-class lectures you learn from and tests you take and pass for social boosts. Switching over to college and adulthood settings would also be a great time to reintroduce varying schedules of companions, like in the original P3. People who are in college or adulthood will probably have more responsibilities that make them less regularly available for missions you need to go on. You have different class schedules, different club schedules, different job shifts, making it all the more difficult to have everyone together every single time you want to go on a mission. It might be more hardcore to bring it back, but I do find it more realistic and fun to strategize with my teammates' schedules. Just as long as we never reintroduce the exhaustion mechanic from 3, I did really hate that. I like revisiting high school with these characters, but it would be really cool to re-experience other times in life through these casts, at least every once in a while, and see them deal with new aspects that come with those stages. Persona has dabbled in more adult stories at times, but it's mostly been through side characters. I'd love to see it in the people experiencing the main adventure with me. Another thing I'd like to see is for them to use the relationship progression system from Metaphor, where you don't have to say the exact right thing to maximize your relationship progression. In Metaphor, you can say whatever you want, and progress the relationship the same. You just get extra currency for unlocking archetypes if you say something the character likes. And I prefer this a whole lot more. It lets me play the character more as myself, and say the things I'd say in those moments with my companions, instead of saying what the other character wants me to say, so I can optimize my progress. I think saying things that explicitly move the relationship more in one direction or another should be saved for transitioning to romance, or maybe if they'd want to add in more relationship regression options. And while we're talking about things to bring over from Metaphor, why don't we go ahead and bring on over that real-time combat system they built for that game? I liked in Persona 5 how they kind of solved the grinding issue by just, crashing your car into enemies when they were a low enough level. But I think I would like it to be a little more engaging than that, and Metaphor kind of fixed that issue for me. It gave a nice real-time engagement with the enemies that were lower than you. It was a one-hit kill at a certain point, but it was still far more engaging than just you sneak up behind them and press a button and they're dead. You could even have it to where the enemies will cast spells at you that you're weak to, and maybe it stun locks you for a second. But even then, when it was a one-hit kill in Metaphor, you would still run up on these places in dungeons where there were just tons of enemies all trying to attack you at once, so you're just Dark Souls rolling all over the place while you try to take them out one at a time. I really did enjoy that. It actually makes me kind of want to see Atlas do a real-time combat game. Now, leading into my third wish, I will disclose that I don't like Unreal Engine. I think it results in a lot of unoptimized and uninspired looking games. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Halo CE Remake. You better be good. But anyway, wish number 3, I would prefer it if they didn't use Unreal Engine again. Something about the way the other games looked I liked a lot more. Persona 3 Reload looked good, but I kind of felt like it was maybe too clean, kind of sterile looking at times. It could have been a consequence of it being a remake versus an original game instead of an engine issue. But, like I said, I don't like Unreal, so it could just be my bias showing. In general, I would like difficulty to make a comeback. I feel like the games have gotten progressively easier over time. When I was first thinking about this, I thought that the games probably just feel less difficult because I'm used to the gameplay loop now, and know what to expect. But then I remembered being able to kill the Reaper with, like, one Theurgy shot in P3R. I had never, ever killed Bro before that. I got molly-rocked one time in Persona 4, and then I avoided him any other playthrough that I had. I thought the only way to stand a chance to him would be if I did a New Game Plus run. And then P3R came along. After I saw what that Theurgy could do, I was not afraid of anything. But I do remember the first time working through Persona 4 Golden, I was way too underleveled for the first boss that showed up with 2 stages, and had to grind for a few hours to level up enough just to barely pass by. And it seemed like from that point on, I just had to be more careful and more leveled than I thought I needed. It was similar in Persona 5 when I first played that, but I don't think I ever really struggled in Persona 3 Reload. Metaphor is somewhat of a cruel breath of fresh air in that regard. I find myself struggling on some normal enemy battles at times. That losing your turn mechanic on a miss really drives me up a wall. I might not want that kind of mechanic, that feels a little too brutal sometimes, but enemies that are just generally smarter and stronger, I would think would be great. I do want another overarching threat that's more immediately felt. In Persona 3 there were shadows that would cause these major disasters every full moon, putting the lives of a number of people at risk every time. In Persona 4 you had the killer kidnapping people just about every month and having to beat the fog to save them. Persona 5 had an overarching villain, but you mostly dealt with smaller villains that increased in scale, leading up to the big reveals. I liked the sense of knowing what my ultimate objective was from the get-go. In Persona 3, it's to reach the top of Tartarus and end the Dark Hour. In Persona 4, it's piecing together clues to discover who the killer is and stop them. For most of Persona 5, it's to stop these baddies as you come across them, trying to go bigger and badder each time. You know there are other things going on in the background leading you to this ultimate goal, but the path to that goal isn't exactly clear. It's never an ever-present enemy or entity. You know you're working towards the politician who set you up based on flashbacks and something to do with the mental shutdowns because of the conversations you get to listen in on. But like I said, it's never totally clear what's really going on, or what you're facing. My ultimate pie-in-the-sky wish is to have a team-up of all the modern Persona characters. But I understand that would be a massive undertaking. That's, hence why it's pie in the sky. But we do know that the games take place in the same universe, since random NPCs mention characters from other games, or things like Rise's poster being up in the subway of Persona 5. Atlus has also done it before with the Persona Q games. It might not be done as a mainline game, but I would really like to see that kind of game made, at least as a spin-off with the budget and mechanics of a mainline game. But if they do want to make it as a mainline game, I won't be mad. And hey, that can even tie into the making an adult cast. Just make everybody older and have them join forces on killing some crazy god again. But that's some of the big ticket items I'd like to see in the upcoming game. There are probably some minor changes here and there that they could make to streamline or improve things, but they make a lot of great improvements every game, so I trust them to work out any minor kinks easily. But let me know in the comments, did I miss any big wishes you'd like to see? How soon do you think we're even getting this thing? This is feeling like a Bethesda wait time, but difference is I'm actually confident that P Studio can deliver a good game. Anyways, leave a like if you liked it, and I will talk to you in the next one.